I want to introduce you to the law offices of Vincent W. Davis at 888-888-6582. They're advocates for the rights of parents, grandparents, and guardians in juvenile dependency courts. Losing a child to a DCFS CPS social worker based on an anonymous call, complaint, or your ex-spouse is not only horrific, but it's commonplace. Everyone will agree that there's nothing more valuable than one's child. You cannot afford to fight this alone. Call the law offices of Vincent W. Davis at 888-888-6582. Connect with an attorney today. That's 888-888-6582. Get your kids back.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fight CPS, the Civil Rights Struggle. I am your host, Amanda Cisco, and tonight we are joined by a special guest, Clayton. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. So Clayton is actually a sibling, not a parent, who is going to share his experiences with DCFS and how this case has affected him. So Clayton, let us know about your case.
So to start all at the beginning, my dad is abusive and a rapist and manipulative. He, from the very beginning, would just hit us for fun. He would tear us down, and it just turned into a massive catastrophe. Every time we talk to him, every time we look at him, he'd have something mean or demeaning to say. And this led eventually to my parents getting divorced because my mom saw through all of his lies and all of his manipulation, and they got a divorce. Well, we had to go to court, and they got divorced. Custody was given 75-25. My mom having the role of parental guardian with having all weekdays, weekends, other than every other week, and Monday and Tuesday nights. And my dad had those other days I had mentioned. Well, it went on for about 5 months before me and my siblings said, you know what, enough's enough. We keep getting abused. We keep getting hurt. We can't deal with this. So we stopped going, and my mom would try. She'd be like, Clayton, you have to go see your dad. You guys have to go see your dad. And I kept saying, no, all he does is abuse us. All he does is hurt us. There's no point to be with someone, to see someone that all they do is tear you down. So we stopped going. We didn't hear any contact from my dad for 6 months until I opened the door one day and someone said, hi, is Amanda Barnett home? Well, I said, no, she's not here right now. Is there something I can help you with? He said, yeah, I have these papers. And I said, okay, well, thank you for the papers, and I hope you have a good day. Well, I take the papers, I slide them underneath my mom's door, and the next thing I know, we're in this huge court case with my dad and my mom and me and my siblings. And it eventually escalated to the point where they had to bring us kids in and talk to us where it was our situation, and my mom and my dad couldn't do anything anymore because it was out of their hands. So we got my guardian ad litem, and it all kind of went downhill from there.
Okay, so your guys' refusal, if I understand correctly, to go to your scheduled visitation with your father is what led to this case being opened up.
Yep.
Okay. However, it sounds like, if I remember correctly, you saying that you guys didn't have any contact with him for 6 months, during which time he did nothing. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, this case is opened up.
Yep. We had no contact with him, no contact with anyone on that family. I was blocked from a lot of family pages. And then out of nowhere, we just have this court case open up.
Now, okay, so when did DCFS become involved?
So DCFS became involved in March of that same year because my dad filed and opened up a case with them saying that we were being dislawful and my mom was being dislawful when it comes to this. And overall, all it did was open up a huge case, which then opened up more cases, and which got the guardian ad litems involved, and it got the therapist family therapist involved, and yep,
Which
just went from there.
happens. A lot of cases have, a common theme to them like this one. And it's really unfortunate. So, okay, so you're saying basically that your siblings are removed, but you are still at home with your mom. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Now, how many siblings do you have?
So I have 3 other siblings, and one of them lives with my dad. He has full custody of her. And then my other 2 siblings, the ones in this case, are with me and my mom most of the time.
Okay, now where are they now?
They're at my dad's house
And why are they there?
because the guardian
Because he has custody. Are they there on visitation? Explain to me what exactly is going on here.
So he was given 30 days custody until our next court meeting coming up soon. Just 30 days unsupervised custody.
Now, did he have supervised before?
Yes, he did. He had 2-hour supervised visits every week. And then he went from
Just
that.
magically went straight into unsupervised.
Yep, full custody, no contact whatsoever.
No contact with who? With you?
I cannot talk to my siblings. I cannot talk to my dad. Nothing whatsoever.
Now, how is that affecting you? I can't imagine what you're going through right now.
That affects me as honestly, it's hard to come home. It's hard to build myself back up and try to look to the light because my younger siblings, I'm scared for their life over there because they get abused and beat, and his only goal in life was to make it so he could be the one above us, so he could have full control. So, in all honesty, it makes me scared. It makes my entire family scared.
Now, so besides the upcoming court date, are there any steps coming up that help relieve the situation in any way? Like, is there any talk of you having any interaction with your siblings or communication at the very least?
Nope. I cannot have any communication whatsoever, or I will be sent to jail.
And why are you not allowed to have any communication? And why are you going to be sent to jail if you do try to communicate? Like, is that on paper that you can't have any communication and that you'll be sent to jail? Were you ever served with a protective order?
Nope, I was never served with a protective order. It was only from the commissioner's voice. She said that there would be no communication between mom, stepdad, and me at all whatsoever when it came to the younger 2 siblings. No contact, we would all go to jail.
So to me, that sounds like undue influence, like to the maximum. And actually, so every show I try to spend a little bit of the time on the show to focus on legal education. And what I was going to talk about tonight were affirmative defenses. And undue influences is one of those affirmative defenses. It's where, you have undue influence put on you to make a decision, or in your case, to not make a decision or do something. And that, I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around this case right now. I
understand.
As glad as I am, to have a sibling on the show to talk about, from their perspective, what being involved in one of these cases is actually like. I can't help but just be heartbroken over what you're going through. Like, I'm so sorry.
It's tough. It's hard. My entire family suffered from it, especially my mom, especially me, because like I told you guys before, it just out of nowhere, we have no communication whatsoever.
That sounds like you could actually use the affirmative defense of laches. Laches is an affirmative defense where somebody cannot bring a claim or a pleading if an undue amount of time has passed, where the plaintiff did not do anything that they could have done, even if it's before the statute of limitations expires. So, for example, say, you and I are in a contract and the statute of limitations for me to make a claim or a cause of action on the contract is 2 years. And a year and a half passes, since your breach of that contract happened. And I could have filed a lawsuit, but I chose not to until like months before the statute of limitations expires. So in that case, because the plaintiff did not make any pleading or take any action in that whole year and a half out of the 2 years before the statute of limitations expires, the judge can order that, okay, this case is dismissed on the basis of laches, and plaintiff cannot make a claim because they could have done so in this lengthy amount of time. But when it comes to affirmative defenses, there's a saying among lawyers that goes something along the lines of, if you don't raise them, you waive them. And affirmative defenses have to be raised in response to the pleadings being filed. So when you answer the pleadings that are being filed against you, that's when you would assert your affirmative defenses. In this case, unfortunately, you're not able to do so anymore, most likely, but I'm still trying to wrap my head around this whole case. So why did the officers of the court, like the security or the bailiff or the commissioner or the GA, so why did they target you and are you removed from the case at this point?
So I was removed from the case. My guardian ad litem fired me as it was putting in. She dropped me from the case. And when we went in to go talk to the commissioner, what happened was he did remove me from the building. When I tried to talk to my commissioner, tried to set up an appointment with her, I was removed from the building.
It sounds like there's somebody pulling the strings in the background where nobody else is able to see it. So that leads me to my next question. Is your father, does he have like a high up their job, or does he have a lot of influence in the community or something like that? Because that's the only thing that would make sense to me.
Yep, he is actually a Utah State Fire Marshal.
So he does have connections and influence from what it sounds like. I'm really sorry to hear that. Now, does he have a criminal history of any type?
So we actually have opened up many rape cases against him for this situation. We had a rape case open about a month ago, which was going on for about a month and a half until it was closed on reasons that I do not know. All I know is a DCFS case lawyer, worker, she said that their attorneys didn't think it'd be a good idea to go through with it.
It doesn't matter if they think it'll be a good idea. There are rules for civil procedure or in this case, criminal procedure, actually. And the criminal procedure is very, very by the book. I'm still trying to understand this. Like, oh my gosh, this is flooring me. So you have an upcoming court case. Do you know what that case is going to be for? What that hearing is going to be for?
So it's going to be, so the baseline of this entire thing, they were put the kids there so they could monitor how the kids were there. And then this next court case will decide if they have to stay longer or if they can come back to us. It's a whole, it doesn't even follow any of the rules. It just completely, it's just out of the blue. Because like I said, there's no supervision. So how are they going to know if it's doing worse for them or not.
And are your siblings able to talk to anybody and report anything, or are they being, put in a position where they are not able to speak up?
Well,
No?
so my father, every time they try to speak up when we were younger, he would shut us down and beat us. So because we can't talk to the kids, we can't have any communication with the schools, we can't have any communication with anything like that. And the one thing that I always know what they would do is they would go and try to ask for help, but they'd get so scared because my dad would hit them. So this entire time, they have counselors to talk to, but I overall am worried that the PTSD that they have from this would come back and they would be too scared to talk. They've sent us emails. They've sent us all sorts of messages that we can't respond to or we go to jail.
What, because the commissioner said you would go to jail?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now, do not take to heart anything that commissioner said to you, especially the threat to go to jail, because unless you have a protective order forbidding you from having any contact with your siblings and you have it in paper and it was legally served upon you by sufficient service of process, they can threaten all day long, but they can't do anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and perhaps I don't know enough about the case to jump to that conclusion. But unless there is an order telling you that you cannot have any contact, or a restraining order or a protective order, you guys should be allowed to have contact. You should be allowed to have contact with your siblings. And even if they try to, make an issue of you having some kind of contact with them, like responding to one of their emails, for example, unless you have some type of paperwork that proves that there is, in fact, a protective order, restraining order, no contact order, something that the court can use to hold you accountable and put you in jail, they can't do anything. That's all talk.
Mm-hmm. Well, and honestly,
To me, this sounds like duress.
It's abuse at the very end of it.
Abuse of power, malicious prosecution, abuse of power, duress, undue influence, failure to join an indispensable party, which is you are that party. And I can go
abuse
on
to my siblings. It's abuse because it's mental abuse for them. They have to go from a life that they've known for the last year to somewhere where they do not feel safe, where they feel like they're going to be pulled down every second of the day. So
meanwhile, the people who are supposed to be protecting them are actually persecuting them and aiding and abetting a convicted criminal in his abusive tendencies, from what it sounds like.
Yeah. My guardian ad litem, her whole situation was to make me forgive my dad for sexually assaulting my mom with him and his best friend. They forced me to watch as he sexually assaulted them. And when I brought it up, I was told they would kill me if I told anyone. Well, my guardian ad litem knows all this story too. And the first thing out of her mouth was, I need to forgive him. First thing every time.
You don't have to forgive anyone. Anyone. Especially someone like that who did that type of thing. You do not have to do that. And you were saying, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Well, and I was going to say, that's why she fired me, because I argued with her about that. I told her that's not fair. That's not, I don't know why it's my life. You can't keep telling me that I have to forgive someone who put me through all that hardship. So why should I forgive him? And then she'd go on a lecture about how I need to give her respect. And if we want these conversations to continue, I need to have respect and be quiet and listen to her every talk, every motive.
This just sounds so frivolous to me that I can't I can't even keep my composure. This is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. With all the people I've talked to, with all the people that I've been in this case and that see it, my therapist, the family therapist, even says that this is insane. And the guardian ad litem will not talk to the family therapist. She has completely had no contact with him whatsoever. She'll lie about her. She's lied about how many times and what she can and can't do. I can't count on all my fingers. She said that she can't take the kids away from all this. I've read the entire law book on the guardian ad litem. I've called her out on all of her lies, and every time I do, she changes the subject to something completely different.
There is one thing that you can do. However, you just told me that you were removed from the courtroom and barred from being a part of the further proceedings. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so maybe you can tell, but is your mom still a party to this?
Yes, she is.
Okay, does she have a lawyer?
Yep.
So what your mom can do, and you might want to tell her and have her discuss this with her attorney, is one way that you can catch them in their effing lies in a court of law during trial is by cross-examination. So the key to a successful cross-examination, it's where, like, say a witness is called or a party is called to, answer questions or whatever, give their testimony. Cross-examination is when the other party, the opposing party, so each party has their own witnesses that they call up to give testimony. Okay. And for every witness that is called to the stand, the opposing party, from who that witness is there for, the opposing party is allowed to cross-examine them after the party who brought them in, asks them questions. So the opposing party is allowed to cross-examine that witness on the stand. And yes, so one strategy that you might be able to consider, and you should tell your mom to look into this with her attorney, is by, when they cross-examine the opposing party's witnesses. For example, this may or may not be common or allowed under the, jurisdictional rules where you are, but you could call the guardian ad litem up to the stand. That is possible. But the key to a successful cross-examination that destroys a witness's credibility is having the evidence. And there are rules. There are federal rules of evidence. There are state rules of evidence. There are rules of proper procedure. So there are certain things that you have to do by a certain time. Otherwise, you won't be able to bring that evidence into the court case. But what you could do is have the GAL called up to the stand to testify. And if you have certain evidence that would prove that she's lying, then, that would be a way to catch her in a lie. And you could move the court. You could do an oral motion, like a spoken motion. You could say, well, I move this honorable court to enter an order holding, blah, blah, blah person GAL in contempt of court or in perjury. Yeah, in contempt of court for perjury or something like that. So maybe talk to your mom about that so she can talk to her attorney and see what they can come up with as far as a strategy.
Okay. So when it comes to all of this, when the witnesses, there have been no witnesses in this case whatsoever. The commissioner has barred witnesses from our court case.
When you say the commissioner has barred witnesses, what exactly do you mean by that?
She will let no one in she will let no witnesses in whatsoever. She will not let transcripts, none of that, recordings, none of that.
Now, most courtrooms do not allow any type of recording devices, so you would have to hire a court reporter or a stenographer to, document the transcript of, everything that happens during that trial. So you're telling me the commissioner has barred that from being allowed? Now, these witnesses, has your mom tried to subpoena any witnesses?
So I'm not sure, but I would like to ask, could I have my stepdad help explain this a bit more?
Of course.
I'm kind of shaken up from this entire situation, so it's
Oh,
hard to
you're
get my
fine. Like
feelings out.
I'm kind of shaken up right now as well. I can't even imagine what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Hi,
so
Amanda.
sorry, I was listening in a little bit. I'm Austin. I'm
Nice
the
to
one that's
meet you.
reached out. You too. So, Commissioner Conklin, she's made it so like we've begged to go to. Oh, we can't say names. Sorry. We've brought it up in court twice. Let's go to trial. Let's go to judicial so we can have the kids talk. That's been our biggest thing the whole time is let the kids talk. And she has said no every single time. Our lawyer, we've asked Amanda, the mother, we've asked her lawyer, well, what does it take to get to trial? And all he will tell us is it's complicated. We've caught the commissioner in like you said earlier. I don't even know if this is like a real law. What she even demanded. And then I asked Amanda earlier today. I said, so do you got a protective order on you? We just found out that it's not a protective order.
So there is no order.
There's no orders. It's just made up by this commissioner.
So it's just an empty threat then.
Exactly. It's just a threat, basically. But we've had Austin and Cameron, the younger two siblings. They keep messaging us, and from the very get-go, what they did, what the guardian ad litem did, she made it so what she said to me and Amanda and the kids, you are not allowed to talk to your mom and dad about the court case. And then they said the same thing to us. They said, Austin, Amanda, if you talk to the kids about the court case, you guys will lose custody of these kids. And so I look at it like, well, what type of parent, when you have a younger 9, 11 and a 15, 16-year-old kid, when they need to talk, their mental health's not right. What parent wouldn't talk to their kids? And so then, so we put the kids through therapy because that was our complaint. And then the therapist calls me and the mom and says, hey, look, we want to take these kids away. But the guardian ad litem, she'll go and she'll talk to the therapist, but she won't listen to what the therapist has to say. She'll go do the opposite of what the therapist has to say. And so then Amanda, she went to court this last time, and basically because Clayton argued about with his gal, that's why they said he's disrespectful. They told him that the commissioner told Amanda in court, you should be ashamed to have such a disrespectful son. And then we're going to take your kids away from you for 38. She didn't even let our kids come home to get their toothbrushes. It was strictly no contact whatsoever. And like I said, the kids keep reaching out to us. We don't know what to do. We keep telling, we've sent all the texts over to Amanda's lawyer. And
now what does the lawyer say?
The lawyers, he's like, it's not right what they're doing. I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Communication.
Yeah, but we keep saying, well, why don't you call the guardian ad litem out if Clayton has these emails of her lying to him, and he has these and then the kids are like, it's crazy to us because Austin and Cameron, the younger two, they will call their dad out in public. During the therapy session that was 30 days ago, it's with Tim Chavez. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to say names. The younger son, Austin, he was in therapy, and what they did is Austin's scared of his dad, so they split him up a half hour and a half hour. Austin gets to be with the therapist for a half hour alone. Then so does the dad. Well, Austin was with the therapist. The dad interrupted therapy just to say, Austin, your mom is brainwashing you. This is all bullshit that your mom's brainwashing you. And Austin stood up to him and said, do you want to know the reason that we hate you, Dad? And he says, why? He says, because you put me and Clayton in a bathtub naked together at 8 and 10 years old. You've scarred us for life. Then the therapist said, you need to get out of here, James. This is not good for your son. He called Amanda instantly and told Amanda what happened just because Austin was a wreck when he got home and we got done with therapy. So Amanda called her lawyer And then we're like, okay, the therapist, he said, we talked to the dad. I think the dad's about ready to give up. I think I made him understand that what he's doing is hurting these kids. So this was a month ago. 2 weeks after this, we go to court, and Clayton's known as a disrespectful kid, and Austin and Cameron because all they did is stick up for him, and Austin and Cameron get taken away, and finally Clayton starts he got fired, so he starts talking to us about everything that's happened, and our minds are blown by the stuff that he has told us. The corruption that has happened is unreal.
Because I could have no contact with my mom and my stepdad at all, or my mom would get in trouble because I'm not supposed to talk about the court case.
And so Amanda right now, the mother, they have zero evidence of her. The reason that they took the kids away is they say Clayton and Amanda coached the kids. That's why they took them away. But what 16-year-old coaches the kids? And then my question is so if they're going into their guardian ad litem and they're getting these supervised visits with it's Wasatch Wings or something. It's where
try not to use names.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We wouldn't want any kind of retaliation or
right. But it's basically somebody like DCFS.
You never know who's watching.
It's a parental, like it's a supervised visit, and they get in an argument with their dad. And so then they say, we want to leave. All three kids say they want to leave. Well, she pulls the kids aside and says, you need to forgive your dad.
She says that I need to forgive my dad because if I do not forgive
my dad. is saying this.
No, the supervisor. With the people, she was watching the thing.
Now, who? Okay, so the supervisor, who brought them onto the case?
The guardian.
Who chose the person who supervises these visits?
The guardian ad litem. Which the guardian ad litem was also chosen by my dad.
So they go to these visits, and she tells Clayton, she tells Austin and Cameron, you need to forgive your dad for everything that he's done to you.
Because if we don't, we're going to live a heartless, heartbroken life, and we'll be miserable for the rest of our lives.
And they're telling us that we're coaching the kids, but how is that not coaching?
Do you have any of this on recording?
I do not have any of this on recording. I was not allowed to bring my phone in.
Say what?
I do not have any of this on recording because I was not allowed to bring my phone in. They're going to let me bring my phone.
But even like the commissioner with her sending these kids away, how is that not abuse with these kids reaching out to us like this? How is that not manipulation, but coaching the same thing? How is that not what they're doing, manipulating at all?
Absolutely manipulating.
Yeah.
Because no matter what we do,
they're abusing the law, but there is fortunately something that you can do completely outside of the court case. And it won't, like, none of these people will be a part of it, but you will be making a complaint about them. So what you can do, and by the way, disclaimer, I am not a licensed attorney yet, so I'm not giving legal advice. You can take it for what it's worth. But, as a last resort, what you can do is make a complaint to the Department of Justice, DOJ for short. So go to the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. So the Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division is where you would make this complaint. And then someone will respond to your complaint and contact you. So collect all the evidence that you possibly can, to prove that what you're complaining is in fact true. And then just see what they say and take it from there.
Yeah. Well, when it comes back to the guardian ad litem, her whole goal was to change us. She said that from the beginning. She said, my goal is to rekindle your guys' relationship.
That's not her job. That is not her effing job.
So one of the things that we said too is, so when they used to go to these supervised family time visits, we had to drop them off, and then we had to pick the kids up. The 2 times that the cops got called, especially the one time at Subway, I don't know if Clayton told you about his dad took a swing at his younger brother. So the cops got called. There was a witness. The Subway people inside seen it. Nothing happened.
There was the call. They were called. We had video evidence of it. The Subway people saw it. No charges were filed whatsoever.
So Clayton calls his guardian ad litem and says, hey, this happened. The cops have been called twice. I researched this. It's the guardian ad
There's a
litem.
record of the cops being called. There has to be. If not, that's obstruction of justice. That's
yes, and so Clayton calls his guardian ad litem and says, "Hey, this happened." And she turns around and she says, "Oh, I never got no voicemail over this. I didn't even know it happened." And she never investigated it. I read up on the law. It's her job to investigate every single one.
Blatant violation of her duties.
Mm-hmm.
She has certain duties as a guardian ad litem and an officer of the court, and as a licensed attorney, which most GALs are.
And what's funnier? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted.
Oh no, you're fine. So you can hold her accountable if your jurisdiction is covering things up. You can go above that. You can go to the State Bar Association, the National Bar Association to make a complaint. You can go. I mean, in my state, there's DPOR, Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation. I don't know if you guys have that where you are.
It would be under a different name if we do, but I am not sure if we have that or not.
We did go to OPG, Professional Conduct, its Office of Professional Conduct. Okay. I begged them to do investigate Jessica Reed. Their biggest thing is, or so no name. Sorry, I've talked to so many people about this. I just keep saying their names. It's time to call her out. How they say that the kids are not allowed to talk to us is all controlled. They're controlling it because they want to make up their own rules. So, and they know that we don't know the law, so they think they can get away with it.
And I have talked to so many people as well, referring to the guardian ad litem, where I now have the private. So I've been in touch with the lead of the private investigator, the private guardian ad litem, Utah State Bar. I'm in contact with her. I'm in contact with someone at the normal state bar.
So you did contact somebody in your state bar.
We have contact.
But it's been open for 4 months, and I called and I finally got a hold of somebody after being on the phone all day. They haven't even looked at it.
Go to the National Bar. Go to the DOJ, the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. Open up a case. What also you can do is make a counterclaim or a cross-claim. So a counterclaim is, for lack of better words, it is something that you can do during, the initial pleadings when you receive the complaint in the very beginning of a case. And a counterclaim is when you, the defendant, do a claim right back to the plaintiff or the person bringing on this lawsuit or complaint in the first place. And a cross complaint is when, so you are the defendant, they're the plaintiff. So a cross claim is when a complaint is filed and given and served on the defending party. And the defending party says, oh, well, this only happened because this third party right here, messed up. So a counterclaim is not, or a cross claim is not a claim, in counter of the plaintiff, but on a third party, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being just the plaintiff versus defendant, it would be plaintiff versus defendant versus third party. And they're all brought into the lawsuit. Now, another thing that I'm again not a lawyer, not a licensed attorney. Mm-hmm. So this is just my advice, take it or leave it. But one thing that you could have done when they first removed you from the case is filed a motion to dismiss for failure to join an indispensable party. Well, now, thinking about it, that may or may not work because you were joined in the beginning. You were a part of the case and then removed.
Yeah. And just me individually. The guardian ad litem is still on the case. She's still supporting she's still with my two younger siblings. Just me individually has been dropped from the case.
He's got recordings of her He's got recordings. And when we went to court the first time, the commissioner, when they got brought up about Clayton complaining about the gal, the commissioner called Clayton a tattletale. Like, that's not professional.
And I have
Not only is it not professional, that's unconscionable. Like, this whole thing is unconscionable.
Yeah.
Like, this is literally shocking me. Like, oh my.
See, this is when I said it just goes downhill from there, because like I told you guys earlier, we had the family dinners, which then got turned into the supervised parent time. And the family dinners are a whole different story. I have situations of where my dad would talk about the rape and about all that, and he'd say
He would talk about it openly at dinner?
Oh, all
openly
3
at dinner
kids.
with my 9-year-old sister, my 11-year-old brother at the time, and me and my other sister.
You don't even want to hear what was said, because it's so sexually wrong. And the problem is the younger 2 siblings and Clayton all heard it. And we to pick up those scars from those kids of what their dad told them, it took months to recover. And they talked about it in therapy, all 3 of them. The problem is all 3 kids are willing to talk. They're willing to tell everybody what's going on. It's just nobody, Commissioner Conklin or Commissioner and the gal, has made it so the kids don't talk. And if the kids do talk, they're going to take the kids away from the mother.
Collect all the evidence that you can.
I have
Everything.
videos upon videos of every single family dinner with my father.
Now, what you could do is get the therapy notes where, and the therapist, it's up to their own discretion what they put in those notes, but that will be further evidence that you guys can use in the future. Also, I was going to say something else, but I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something important. Okay, so therapy notes, collect them as evidence. Oh, you can bring, okay, so I know you said that witnesses are being purposely shut out from the case and not allowed to testify. However, you could request the therapist to testify as an expert witness. Now, something that might help is everything you do, in terms of this case with the court or, the parties to the case, always have it in writing. Always have everything in writing. So the court has also done some F stuff to me. But looking back at my case, I was actually kind of proud of myself because I left a pretty dang good paper trail. So I was, filing my own motions, faxing them to the court clerk. So all of that is on record. Now, it isn't necessarily public record, especially since it's a case involving juveniles. However, it is on record with the court. So there is evidence that I filed the motion and, said what I said in those motions. So always do everything on paper if you can. Leave a paper trail. So when you guys appeal the case, which I have no doubt will end up in appeal, and so it goes, I don't know how it works in your jurisdiction, but you have your trial courts. Then above that, you have your circuit court in my jurisdiction. And then above the circuit court, you have the United States Court of Appeals.
Yep.
Which for me, it's in the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals.
Yep. So they do what? So we brought up appealing this last one where the kids got taken away for 30 days. We got told if we appeal it, the kids are going to be taken away for 4 months because it takes 4 months to appeal it.
They're just trying to scare you. Do you know for a fact it takes 4 months to appeal?
Nope. That's just what Amanda's attorney had told us.
Now, where did mom find this attorney? Is it a private attorney?
She knows him. She does hair. She cuts hair for Sport Clips, and he comes in, and they've known each other forever. He's known about the dad and the abuse for probably 10 years. So he said, yeah, I'm willing to represent you. And I think he does a good job. I really do. But he needs to question these type of things. And that's just what he told Amanda. It might take 4 months. He did say With these 30 days, we might be able to get the kids back a little bit. It might be like parent time on our side now, like where we
As
get
an
supervised
attorney,
visits.
As an attorney, he should be and should have been cutthroat on this case. Like he should have been in for the kill from the beginning, especially with the knowledge of the situation that he has. He has actual knowledge of the abuse.
And he said that in his reasoning, when we bring that up, he says, Amanda, I'm only able to represent you. I can't actually represent any of the kids at all.
Yet when I told you earlier,
Yeah,
the
I see where you're
entire
coming
court
from
has
with
been.
that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, like I told you earlier, it's up. They said it was up to the kids to figure this out now. They said that the parents cannot do much more. That's why they got the guardian ad litem. That's why they started family therapy.
What does that even mean? It's up to the kids to figure it out. So what the
I
hell
don't
is the court for? What is the courthouse even for then?
Exactly.
And then Clayton
That's
fights
the
back.
case. The kids could just will themselves into the home where they feel comfortable, and then boom, case closed.
That's common sense. That's the thing. It's common sense for that to happen. But when I fight back, I'm seen as a disrespectful kid. And it's not just with the one person. Once I was disrespectful to my guardian ad litem, she told everyone in the court case that I was disrespectful to everyone involved.
I would have sued her ass for defamation immediately. Or demanded strict proof. Oh, disrespectful? All right, I move this honorable court to show for the plaintiff to show strict proof that I'm being disrespectful.
Well, and then the commissioner.
How was that disrespectful? Show the court.
Well, then the commissioner would say, I'm disrespectful and all this, that, and the other. But as soon as my guardian ad litem, before she dropped me, she said to get a meeting with this commissioner. As soon as I try to get the meeting with the commissioner, I'm immediately told she does not want to see me and I will not be able to see her. And I get removed from the courtroom.
Clayton,
now, why do you want to speak with the commissioner?
Why do I? Because I wanted to have a full-on conversation of what's been going on behind the scenes when it comes to my guardian ad litem.
It sounds like she's a part of what's going on behind the scenes.
Yes, she is.
Oh, she is.
Well.
Another shocking thing is, so a month before this even happened.
Up the flagpole. Just go up.
Yep. A month before this even happened, Clayton would reach out to his guardian ad litem and he would email her. She would email him back and she'd say, "Okay, I will have a conversation. I'll call you on Friday at 3:00. That never happened. He would email her. He calls the secretary of the place. Hey, I'm supposed to have a call with our gal at 3:00. Guess what the receptionist says? No, what? She don't want to talk to you right now. And so then Clayton calls again. Well, she ignored Clayton for the last month. Clayton sent her email after email after email. And then we go to court and Clayton's known as disrespectful because she's ignoring him.
Yeah, I'd get anything to talk to her. I would call on a daily basis to talk to him. I would get, oh no, she's in a court meeting right now. Oh no, she's left the office already. Well, when my sister had a physical appointment to go see her, she told my brother that she doesn't have to talk to me if she doesn't want to. So she made my sister cry at that appointment.
If you really want to hear how crazy this story is, let Clayton tell you about the receptionist and what happened with the Better Business Bureau with the receptionist. Clayton calls the receptionist one day. I'll let him tell the story.
So I called the receptionist and I scheduled an appointment with them. Well, I walk into the building and I have a meeting with my guardian ad litem, and that was I just sat there dumbfounded because she would say lie after lie after lie. Like, I can't make the judges have no parent time. I can't make it so the judges won't listen to me. I have to follow what they have to say. This, that, and the other, just bull-faced lies. Well, I walk out and I'm like, okay, I'd like to schedule another appointment. Well, the secretary is vaping behind her desk and she blows all the smoke from her vape right into my face.
A 16-year-old's face.
As soon as I'm walking out.
Nicotine.
Wait. Whoa. Mm-hmm. So the GAL during a meeting is vaping and blowing it in your face?
No, the secretary, as I was walking out, the secretary was vaping behind her desk and she blew it all in my face when I tried to get another meeting set up.
So we called the Better Business Bureau. We made a scene about it. Every time we brought it up, they would hang up on us. The Better Business Bureau, they did post a complaint about him, and I posted it online. We called the law firm, and we said, we want this videotape. We want this videotape. We know you guys have it. There's a camera right there. They will not talk about it. They will not give it to us. They called Clayton a liar.
We mentioned it once, we get hung up on. We try it again,
Subpoena
we
the
get hung
video.
up on.
Subpoena the video.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can even do a subpoena ducis tecum if
Yes.
necessary.
Yes.
And it's
We want that video more than anything.
Subpoena the video.
Well,
Now,
then we
I
go-
looked up the laws for recording in your state, because in Virginia, which is where I am, it is a one-party consent state, meaning I can record anything I want so long as I am a party to what's being recorded. And also, it's pretty much the same in Utah from what I see. But always double check your jurisdictional laws, just in case. But Utah recording law stipulates that it is a one-party consent state, like mine. In Utah, it is a criminal offense to use any device to record or share In Utah, it is a criminal offense to use any device to record or share use communications, whether they are wire, oral, or electronic, without the consent of at least one person taking part in the communication. So that sounds like what the laws are here in Virginia. So it's a one-party consent state. So I can record you so long as I am a party to what's being recorded. However, what I cannot do, and what is illegal for me to do, is say, for example, I can't record something I'm not a party to. So, for example, say I stuck a hidden camera somewhere and recorded it, but I wasn't a part of the actual recording. That's illegal. So as long as you're a party to what's being recorded, you don't need their knowledge or their consent. So record away. It is all evidence.
And we have requested the transcripts from every meeting, and they have all been denied. We have all been told we do not get to have them.
Subpoena them. Subpoena them.
So we're going down to the court tomorrow. We're actually going to go watch a couple of, me and my mom, we're going to go watch a couple of Conklin's cases. I've talked to everybody in the 2nd District Court. Once we started reaching out, the commissioner set a meeting with Amanda's lawyer saying, hey, you need to have your boyfriend and Clayton, your son, stop posting stuff on social media, blasting us. And we said
the same thing on my case.
Yep. And then we said, no way. And so I said, we're going to go to her cases tomorrow. And then we're going to go try to talk to somebody in the court. What needs to happen is she needs every case that happens. She needs it recorded. They do Zoom calls specifically so they can't record. So
it's not even in person. It's over Zoom.
It's over Zoom now. We can't even go to court anymore. They're doing all of this over Zoom. And half the time that they're doing Zoom calls, they just tell Amanda, you don't even need to show up.
I call BS on that because as a party to a case, you absolutely have to be there.
Yep.
All parties must be present during a case that's being tried.
Yep.
No exception. No if, ands, or buts. That is not.
That's what I said.
And that what comes to my next section is my guardian ad litem would not let me be with her during this case. Me and my siblings were not allowed during this case. We were not allowed to be in the same room as her. We were not allowed to see the court case. Nothing.
So unfortunately, we are out of time for tonight. But this is really hard for me to swallow. This is just unbelievable. Goodness gracious. So it sounds like there's a lot of corruption and threatening, a lot of law breaking. There's just all kinds of stuff going on in this case. So I would like to have you guys back on the show to update us on how you guys have, gone about filing the complaint to the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division.
Okay.
Is that something that interests you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
we'd be
we
more than willing
want to do
get
anything
back
we
on
can to
this.
get our babies home and get them safe. And hopefully we got our next court hearings in 2 weeks. It's October 11th, I believe. Hopefully we'll have our kids with us, and we'd love to set up another meeting and have the other two kids here right here with us talking.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would make me very happy, just because I know how much this is affecting you guys.
Yeah.
And it's affecting me. I'm getting vicarious trauma through this. But gosh, I was gonna say something again and I just forgot. Okay, Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, update on the case. What is the judge's stance on all of this so far up to this point? What stance has the judge been taking?
All the father side 100%. The mother is alienating the kids. She's coaching, even though there's no evidence whatsoever. It's that, and I'm not sure if Clayton told you his dad works for the state, of course.
So to me, this sounds like all of these officers of the court and other parties are abusing their power, intimidating, threatening, violating the laws. They're violating civil procedure.
It's like I said, it all goes downhill from there. It turns into a giant mess where it seems like the odds are not in our favor. With all the police officers we've talked to.
If this person doesn't want to help in any way, then go above them. Go above them if they fuck up. Go above that person if they mess up. Just keep
That's
going.
our next goal.
Eventually you will get to some. How can this go? How can this even happen?
You would think as our courts where we put these people in to make it right. We put people like our guardian ad litem in to keep children safe, not do this, not make their lives way worse. We're so afraid of our son right now, and he has mental problems. He's been known a year ago. He said he wanted to run in front of a car. The school calls us and says that he wants to commit suicide because of the father. Now he is with the father and he is messaging us and saying all this stuff that is concerning us. And so we call it's called a safe ship. It's you call a cop and he goes to the house just to make sure that it's going okay. Well, we did that. The cop says, obviously the kids want to be home with you guys. They don't want to be here, but they're safe. The next day, not even 24 hours later, we get a call from commissioner. You are not allowed to call a cop to see how your kids are doing.
So the commissioner told you that you are not allowed to do a welfare check?
A welfare check.
The commissioner is saying all of this stuff. We're not allowed to do a welfare check. We're not allowed to talk to them. We can't
call the school counselors. We can't show the messages to anybody, which I have. I've shown every message that the kids have sent to us. I'm showing it to because people need to see that these kids' mental health. What if something happens to our baby boy? It's not right.
And if something happens to him, how's it going to affect my little sister, whose best friend is my mom?
If he's crying out for help, and his mental health is in jeopardy right now, something needs to be going on.
This is nearly bringing me to tears. Oh my God.
Yeah, as a parent, we have to sit here and lay here at night in bed, and we're like, please, Austin, please just stay strong. And his last message, I'm breaking down every day. He sent us a picture. Please, Mom, email me back. And we can't do it.
That was the most heartbreaking thing that we
don't believe that you can't unless you have an order in your hands on paper saying that you can't. F what they say.
Yeah, right. That's what I said.
100%.
You know what? I'd be like, oh, okay, come at me then. Come at me with everything you can. Yep. Give it all you got. I dare you. Come at me.
Yep.
But that's just my opinion.
Right? If only we were.
What I'm going to do. So we are past time, so we have to end the show. But what I'm going to do is I am going to be in touch with you sometime tomorrow. Is that all right?
Oh, yeah.
I am going to set you up with services that may be able to help you. I will get you in touch with someone at the very least who might be able to provide services that will help you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So Definitely. Oh, all right. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning into Fight CPS, the Civil Rights Struggle. I am amazed at that story that we just had. My heart really goes out for both of them, for all of them, especially those children, because they are the ones who suffer the most in the end. So without further ado, I will go ahead and end the show tonight, but you can tune in every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, which is, I'm sorry, at 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is 5 p.m. Pacific time. Yes. Okay. Sorry. So thank you guys for watching tonight, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Now we'll see you next Thursday. All right. Thanks. Bye.